Okay, I'm doing another little little video here. Yeah, yeah. Okay, good. Anyway, I'm getting to a point to where I'm just testing this out. I just have a new phone here, and I was like, I don't know what the deal is about gallery. It's already like making me like really, it's not funny to me, okay, but there's like a gallery like. Software engineer like media storage file like on the phone that I have. Okay, so I don't know if I'm gonna have to like install another one to prevent what seems to be like an ongoing issue with like whether a Wi-Fi manager or the webmaster or some like domain name of like site owners have like had the right to assemble and decided that they were going to like you know grasp and retain some like like umbilical participation and like maybe forecast some like awareness and perception that like is like you know it doesn't really have to be like a supplemental like intellect, right? Okay, so like anyway, so it's like it's really like appeasing my thing about like hey, like really did anyone ask it anyway? Yeah, but anyway, so anyway, so like I'm just like testing this phone out, and it looks like it looks like it's reversing when okay the camera's on the touchscreen side, and when I record it, I mean it like in the background right behind me, it looks like it's on the right side, but when I play it back after it's like on the gallery um, media storage file, it's kind of like reversed and mirrored. I'm a right-handed drummer. I mean it's kind of like hey, I'm actually trying to find where if at all if I can like totally control something about that. Being that the camera's on the touchscreen side, which it makes it like I'm looking at myself on the screen right now, and it makes it real easy for me to adjust the camera without, really. I mean, seriously, come on, right? So anyway, like I'm trying to set this up and maybe yeah, I was going to like redo my videos anyway, but like I just mentioned on the video I just made like on this phone right here that I'm talking on, like looking at right now, is that like I have a YouTube.com channel, okay? And I was just starting to use it, okay? And kind of like get, familiar with my lighting. I've just purchased a lot of equipment and like getting into really what truthfully I always have been, but maybe at a different degree level, being my own kind of situation and like getting into the recording studio and music video and, uh, you know, uh, in prep for like, at least making a very, very well what I have is like really it's very comfortably and within the parameter of the professional equipment, and not a question about it to any extent. But the point being is that um, the setting is as far as its capability and versatility. I mean, hmm, yeah, well, it's not limited to where I'm at now, but maybe that might be like really like great, like to have a commercial building like right here, right? Yeah, and Division's Tower building as well. Yeah, hey, right. Hey, right here. Yeah, might as well. Yeah, like I'm in a good mood. How about that Airmark Arena as well, right? Wadesboro, right? Oh my God, yeah. Okay. Anyway, like I'm trying to get set up and likewise renovate this specific place right here for soundproofing, as well as the compatibility with like right now I'm looking at an automatic 4, maybe 5, and it very well may be a 5-member like Christian progressive heavy metal hard pop funk rock band, okay? And it's not going to be like specifically like totally and completely designated to Christianity itself, yet truthfully I've been to a lot of places on interviews, as a matter of fact, that like are like worldwide American, international American English speaking like franchises and corporations, and the interview, it's like there's certain aspects about, you've probably seen the Christian thing about the footprints on the beachfront. Okay, and I don't really remember everything about it, and I do and I don't, and but what I do remember about it is like there's 2 sets of footprints on the beachfront, okay? And then there was just like the question, there's like a little bit of communication. It's just like a picture, like a plaque, like a picture. It's like a Christian thing, right? So anyway, there's like 2 sets of footprints, being like 4 foot, okay? 2 sets of footprints, and they're like all of a sudden there's only like 1 set of footprints. And then it's like, well, Jesus, where were you when I need you most? And that's when he says, like that's when I was carrying you, kind of like thing. And it's like a real big thing. And when I actually been on certain interviews and realized that the Christianity about something about the English speaking, as far as I know, um, representing some Christian value of that fact in that picture. It's like a real big Christian thing at that level. And when I actually noticed that and realized that on certain interviews that I saw information that had led to the footprint and certain information that like thoroughly, I mean, it's almost like words and phrases in biblical scripture that like almost represent, the format, not only limited to the format of like the Bible, but as well as like citing and quoting codes, as well as like other factors and legal forms, not limited to uh, corporate venue, or normally sometimes corporate venue like involves litigation. It's like ridiculously, to me, that's truthfully, it doesn't have to be that at all. But there's a lot of things about litigation that might represent corporations more so than possibly not limited to, maybe even entertainment law, as far as like intellectual property or royalties, or even like really annuities that would involve like royalties of mineral rights as well. Even content as a within the parameter of what ownership is, or allowing the sell and purchase as a however the duration of the lifespan of the content that had been purchased. Although the content on such as a compact disc or a DVD, predominantly of entertainment, that would reflect intellectual property and having fair use of, or any specific duration, and likewise other legal terminology that would reflect like not limited to an item or an easement that be purchased, although the actual participation of like human capital, for example, or contractual evidence that would actually require participation at a level of what would consider a duration of actual participation, not necessarily a witnessing or a bystander type of deal, but a first and second relationship as compared to a third party type of intellectual issue, which would be like an easement, such as a compact disc or even a television. But truthfully so, truthfully not, depends on what the real situation is in that sense. But yeah, so like there's like issues that really reflect personally my thoughts about that, and truthfully that will not be a question, and not perceived, if not a question, misperceived, or like redirected in a way that might give the perception of something that would be deviant than other than personally me being involved. But anyway, like I'm getting in prep for like setting this up and make some renovations and do some soundproofing and maybe some of the issues. But like I'm upgrading with some of the equipment, and like I said, I just got a Behringer Eurodisc SX 3242 FX 32 channel mixing board. Okay, so hopefully the digital signal processing is divided with two sides, a left and a right. And actually, I might need to look at it closer. It might be just a mono or stereo issue. I'm really not sure. I need to like double check that and make absolutely sure. And truthfully, this is the first digital signal processing that has the two, as compared to the one. That could be, after it's chosen, be split and designated, in a stereo. But it looks like has two sides because, yeah, as a matter of fact, the four subgroups, like I just mentioned a little earlier, are those, as a matter of fact. Yet, with previous mixing boards that I've had the four subgroups, as well as the left and right stereo master mix. Actually, the almost master mix of the two faders for the left and right stereo mixed down from a subgroup of four. And then the one and only master fade that mix finalized. Okay, so like there's 4, 2, and 1. But this one is like a mono and a master. And I'm actually learning as I go. So hopefully the blinking and actually assigning and designating the choice for like the digital signal processing effects that are on the board. Hopefully I can find and get it to where assigning and designating and maintaining the choice as a chosen preset, not necessarily a default. What's going on right now is that it blinks and I choose one, and it's got a dial knob for actually choosing the effect, and it's likewise, in addition to a dial knob, it's also a push button. So I'm trying to find out the procedural and sequence of the procedure to hopefully designate that and use it effectively, and like not automatically stop. When I set it, it's temporarily it stops blinking, and then it looks like it's set, okay, and then it's there, and then it just like it goes back to like what would be a preset, I don't know if it's a manufactured preset is what the deal is, and normally, I'm not sure, so I'm not going to just speculate, but it doesn't look like a normal issue that would like reflect, uh, an automatic perception of what maybe might be only a make and model distinguishing differential that might, thoroughly, equate to like, hey, okay, it's all right then, But anyway, like it stops blinking when I like click on that dial button and push it like a push button, and it looks like it's set. Then it stops blinking, and then all of a sudden, it just like the screen, both sides, it just like like it's like it just turns off. So I'm not sure if like I'm getting like the special effect like normally. I just got it like yesterday, okay. So anyway, I'm trying to figure that much out about it and get it set to work because I'm gonna start making some more music videos and do a bunch of the same and get my audio production like music videos standard reference portfolio. And once again, whatever. Hopefully, I can get it perfected and all my equipment adjusted to where at least that much can be done and get on with directing it, and hopefully it will not be an issue with like a national YouTube.com channel, and not a question of whether a local area or a wide area network or whatever the case may be, and actually at least get the national issue, if not the entire World Wide Web, the World Wide Web Internet. So seriously, yeah. So hopefully it'll be a very good, profitable, enlightening, enriching experience, and not a contesting issue like what that is seriously already not funny. So anyway, so maybe so. Maybe it'll be more fun and like in direction of like getting all that accomplished without any contesting factors that might let. Yeah, sure. I'm sure you can figure that much out about it. So it's like good, great. So okay, I'm gonna give it a break here, and I'm gonna sit here and do what I normally do, and maybe get something like a little bit more accomplished and a little bit closer to like seriously just like doing it nonstop and getting into it and to the level that hopefully it will be considered an already demanded standard of like television and radio and all that good stuff. And truthfully, and the original music that I'm actually doing is predominantly focused towards the Christian progressive heavy metal, hard pop, funk rock. Once again, yeah, it is. And it's not that it's going to, it's just that it really is. And truthfully, all that I've like practiced like virtually my entire life, I'm actually like throwing a little bit in from like all the way through the late 60s to like now, which is now the year 2020. And once again, truthfully, as far as like my drums go, even truthfully singing, it's almost an automatic at random with like more than 3,000 songs, truthfully, on my drums. Yeah, truthfully so. Like I say, if I like really want to expand what I really focus on as far as like practicing and staying in shape with the strength and versatility and combination of like if you want to call it an absolute, tolerance or whatever within that boundaries that like excels, far beyond like what like normally I listen to anyways, like, really some like serious stuff. So, yeah, so like I focus on, if I really want to expand it beyond like 250, 300, and get to the 1,500 mark, I mean, it's like not a problem, but, I do that sometimes. But just to stay in shape, and when I get serious about, doing something that normally I wouldn't do, that's not covered within that range of like 300 songs, or if I just feel like all the way to the 3,000 or more than 3,000. But anyway, yeah. So I mean, seriously, when all that that I've like practiced like training and teaching myself like on my drums as well as singing into my original music, and actually finding members that like if you want to call it the compatibility, the range, and everything is like really good for everyone, and it's going to be like a real good experience. And not a question about what it means to them, as well as like me myself, as well as what it has to offer, as far as like what I've seen has only been made available. My choice of like words and lyrics and phrasing, as far as like it's not limited to Christianity, although like I've mentioned Christian Science with applied science and the experience of like today's world and the future, what the future means now, and recognizing, some uplifting, if you want to call it, eventually calls direct circuits, some like electronic issue involving many factors. Yeah, I'll get into that later, but yeah. So like, a lot that I considered as information that I see that really I could have used compared to what was then, the way I thought then, is to what I do now. The way I think now, like having the way I know that really so many things of it is, and the way it really is, although like experiencing is like, and seeing like the entire, the big picture is kind of like, knowing what I know now. I've heard it before and I've been told that many times, had they had known what they had knew then, if they had known, actually, well, how's the phrase? If I knew then what I know now, if I knew then what I know now, then like, yeah, so it's kind of like that situation. And truthfully so, it's ridiculous. It almost seems like it's almost manufactured like that. I already knew it was going to be the psychology about that phrase. And it's almost ridiculously, I mean, you already knew that. So it's kind of like, a lot of information that I could have used then is like something that, maybe others will profit from and give a little bit of more direction and perception and meaning and direction and what, participation actually means for each and every person. And really, truthfully, my Christian progressive heavy metal hard pop opera, I want it to be to where, like when people hear it, they'll also get, really the real thing. And really, the experience is not, I mean, hey, if it's like a situation that really deviates from the comfort zone or whatever, I mean, people have their issues. And at some point, earning the comfortable part of it, or beyond that, or born into a situation that there's like it's provided, and not necessarily the hard laboring work of any type of labor. As far as I'm concerned, even academics, reading to me is like, it's not really labor, but it's work. Okay, so like, that's the way I want people to perceive like my original music, is that the information that's being provided is something that's like thoroughly like looked at in a different way that maybe others might, accept as like, I've heard the phrase taking it for granted, and how true that is, I don't want to sound like a total idiot that doesn't know what that might sound like, maybe, because of the transaction at the bank, or some like, earned annuity, or some like segregating factors based upon like, some like degreed idiot that doesn't realize the terminology that's been designated as compared to what taxation might only suggest as a valued participation, or, some like, degree level that actually went beyond the degree in the circuit to actually like annuitize some like greatness about what the freedom like of extracurricular activity really means, and actually going beyond and looking and getting it and finding it and having the comfort zone that would like be for like every generation of like whatever family. If even the family structure is even anything more than maybe even the 1200 reserve banks reflecting a religious venue like an archive division, yet not necessarily a presidential, executive, or legislative type of structure that might thoroughly be, something to be considered in that sense. Truthfully so, and what family or family law, or what family is as compared to, the family structure as compared to a presidential, executive, and legislative sense. And truthfully, even though a family is truthfully structured in that sense, or even participating with a business or company, or a description in employment, truthfully all that really is in that description, and seeing themselves that way in that sense, and progressively, maybe accomplishing and achieving that level might reflect whether or not, if anyone truthfully even knows if they're even accused of even knowing if they've even practiced law, or possibly, are you kidding me, in cooperation with federal, state, and local authorities. It might reflect even having a television might be the accusation whenever that is in real estate. Okay, so I mean, if there's like litigation over participation or a professional witness style technique over what recognizance means, or whatever, surveillance, or whatever the case may be, I mean, seriously. So really, that's all to be considered as well as the entertainment law, or any characterization or sequencing of characterization that would define the meaning of what the computer language actually means, or enterprise, or there's many factors that really I'm not going to just stay limited into the Christianity, although the comparable reference and structure will be applied, and very much so. So anyway, that'll be good news, and yeah, great. Okay, so it's hopefully going to be like a very, very positive, and give a huge, large audience a perspective, maybe of considering, seeing things in a way that possibly, it's, once again, it's kind of like, when I realized that, there's an accusation, hey, you already know. It's kind of like, yeah, right, okay. And it's amazing, and over the years that all the information has been provided, through education, television, and just, preference in entertainment. I mean, truthfully, it's phenomenally when a person realizes that all that they have is like like their memory sometimes and like actually using it. It's like ridiculous. And thinking that the insignificance of just knowing never led to anything then is like seriously like what I'm like knowing now. It's like going directly, right to it, right? So I mean, when all there's left to do is use the memory of like everything you know and like apply it and direct it, is my point with a lot of my lyrics involving Christianity, as well as geographics and a lot of other things and analytical perception of how to coordinate maybe even an acceptance base to a new way of thinking about what interview means in a direction maybe not if not a social level or a professional or business or whatever the case may be. What that might mean, at any level with like what that means at any type of interview or presentation, really, truthfully anywhere, whether it be a seminar or public speaking or a commencement or, a valedictorian salutation, really seriously. So, yeah, so like, I'm trying to give that perspective to the individual participation might reflect what that might mean at a larger scale and maybe direct that attention to maybe acquire and achieve that larger scale at that level and see that in that way. So that might give a more perspective of maybe not always dependent upon what only appears to be available, but going beyond what only seems to be made available and going beyond that point and like making something available that is normally like suggested as advertisement and know that it's there. Okay, well good, well great, okay, well good. So we'll get that from that point and a little bit more later on. Talk to you later, bye.